Yo, 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 what is going on, COD Familia? It is your boy BN, aka Mr. Kingdom Builder, and today I got a hot one for you. We got some drama llama in the house here happening in SSS1-8. This kingdom is comprised of servers 2, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Now, we're going to show you some of the alliances here, and we're going to get right into the meat and potatoes of what happened a number of days ago. I think about 5 or 6 days ago. So we have GOAT, GRZ, TM, and TA. These are kind of the top four. You have, I think, a little bit of a showing here from, oh gosh, I don't remember. Here we go, GDB, which is about 1.7 bill. But these, outside of GDB, you have GOAT here at 2.3, GRZ at 2.3, almost 2.4, TM is at 3.4 billion, and then TM is at 3.4 billion as well. So you pretty much have 5 like heavy active alliances right now in the kingdom, with 4 being kind of more of the core than the 5th, just because again they're being a little bit closer at that 2.5 bill to 3.5 bill range. So what happened here a number of days ago that caused pretty big uproar, or at least heavy conversations and back and forth? So TA, from what we have seen, it appears to be, let me be clear, that TA had made an announcement saying that GRZ and GOAT would be fighting against TM and TA. It would be a 2v2. It was said that a conversation happened with GOAT. They had agreed, but then GRZ was finding out for the first time, meaning, or at least seeming, that they were not communicated with when this announcement was made by TA. And so clearly that seems to be a problem, because if that is the case, why would you be not having a conversation with someone but then making decisions for them in that way, especially when you have chats that are set up? You know, GRZ has been allies with TM and TA from server 2 for a number of seasons now. So to see this type of a response, almost an outrage, almost makes it seem as though this is more authentic, this is legitimate, because I don't think I've ever seen something like this happen where a decision like that was made after Season 1, or even heard about it. So now let's get in, and we're going to show you some screenshots on what actually has been said, so we can then we can kind of, I don't want to say conclude, but we can analyze what has happened, and then I'm going to give you my thoughts at the end of the video as well. So here we go. Let's show off number 1, which is Uriel saying, Kagan asked you one question, just one question, stop saying something else. Kagan, what? Interesting. Ask. You say just one question. We have, so you went ahead and declared us as traitors on mail before reaching out to me. Is this how you talk to other alliance diplomats? You keep telling me the same thing because of something I'm not aware of. Look, I did not know about that mail. If it was, I write this to you personally, and you are Hayne and I waiting for you to explain. That was Kagan responding to Uriel. And now let's look, right, because I think it's important to kind of show you this, right? So Kagan, I believe it did say TM, so we'll look at TM. So I believe Kagan is right here. So if this is accurate, then that means, again, right, this person being an officer. The challenge here is that if you are essentially saying, or as an officer, and you're saying that, hey, I did not know about a mail that was sent, if that's true, that to me is a red flag, because clearly that's something that a management team should be discussing amongst themselves before some type of big mail like that comes out. Or again, supposedly, right, and we'll show you some one of those screenshots here in a bit, is that you typically would have that discussion, or at least brief your management team on these things before those are said, so that way they are, first off, in the know, 2, they can ask questions, and then 3, they can appropriately try and respond or solve or mitigate the situation by just knowing what to say if those questions or concerns should arise. Then let's get to the next one here, which is Ghost Rio won't understand you. GRZ has invented something in his own world, and he believes in it. I'm not really sure what this is. If we do a respectful 2v2, that doesn't mean GRZ are traitors. It shows we are doing something for the server and giving GOAT the opportunity to become a family also. Ghost, have you read the mail first? And again, this, I think, I'm not sure where the response is for traders here. And I'm not sure if that was something that maybe GRZ had taken that as. But part of it, and we'll explain on maybe how that could come across once we get to the actual mail. And I think the wording could have just been a little bit better here on how that was written. So Go says, yes, opponents this season only. It is like calling us out calling us our traitor. That doesn't mean you guys are not family. And did you guys talk this with us before sending the mail? So, and again, I think this is the challenge, is that the mail was sent and what seems to be not communicated with the GRZ team. And so that's why you're seeing a lot of these types of responses, which again, if that's the case and the truth, then that really falls on TA and TM for not handling the situation more appropriately. Then let's look at this. Did you talk? So it looks like you decided also do that without our concern. Ghost says, yes, I've read the mail. And it's interesting here because you'll see once we kind of get into a number of screenshots, part of it almost feels like, at least in the beginning thus far, and if it plays out this way throughout all of them, part of me kind of feels like they're deflecting or just not answering the question flat out, but we'll see. So earlier, I think just you, trader. Look, just you. Yes, that's it. Ghost, miscommunication. Okay, so what do you want to do, Uriel? So this is the thing, right? There's no acknowledgement here, which would have obviously been the appropriate time to do something like that. Can you guys make us traders on mail and without contacting us? You contacted Goat, didn't you? And then here we get to the actual mail that was sent. And it doesn't really matter who sent it. It's just the point of the mail itself. It says, this is announced to TA. The new season has started. Our goal is to still win the Red Dragon for the 4th time. After discussion by the TA management team, our opponent this season is GRZ and GOAT. Now, this is important to really take this away, because this to me is just a ginormous red flag, where it says, after discussion by the TA management team. Notice what this does not say. It does not say by the TA, GOAT, GRZ, and TM management team. It has been universally decided, or decided amongst these alliances, that these are the matchups for this season. That would have been better for it to say by then first and foremost going and having those conversations, to then include that in the mail, where it would come across a lot better. And I don't know how many people really understood this part or really read into it from TA or for those that saw this mail. But that to me is a red flag, because what it basically just says is that this one alliance's management team decided on their own that, hey, we're just going to force you guys to be our opponents so we can have some fun. This to me comes off a little bit because of the assumption or the perception of that there was no communication prior to this with GRZ. To me, this comes off as, oh, hey, we just want to fight and have our fun in kind of a greedy type of way. That doesn't mean that was necessarily their intent, but the way that the optics look once we have some more context is one way to approach and perceive how this comes across. And that's how it comes across to me when I look at the other details and then I read this. So then it says, we have arranged the landing position of GRZ top, GRZ there without notification. Now GRZ has merged with Gas and proposed TATM GRZ versus GOAT. It's shame to do 3v1 for us in order not to kill the server. We cannot choose to keep peace with GRZ this season. Let's do 2v2. Fair fight TA plus TM versus GOAT GRZ. Now, first off, let me be clear. And I'm going to give you a direct example. When I was running the project in 65, one of our goals, once we got to Zone 3, because we came in with 9 alliances, we condensed that to 7, probably would have condensed to 6 by the time we got to Zone 3, but it would have been about 6 or 7 if things played out the way that they were going before the road bumps, is that we then would have decided, hey, we're going to do some type of fun war games where we're going to have our alliances versus our alliances and anyone else who wants to participate. The challenge here is that the obvious decision, if you really care about the best interests of the server and want to have fun, sustainable PvP, you would do TA and GOAT or TA and GRZ versus TM and GOAT or TM and GRZ. And you would split TA and TM up and have them be captains, if you will, or on each or on different teams. And then you'd put GOAT and GRZ on one of those other teams. And then you'd fight it out. That to me is, again, remember, we just looked at the rankings. That is how you would do it. But you can tell that this is something that whomever is in charge of I don't know, kingdom management or decision making within TA and TM, this clearly is not something that is at the forefront of their mind to do. And that, I think, is probably the real shame here, is that, and let me point out that this is just one way of viewing it. This is how I view it, because when I'm approaching it, I'm looking at, well, what does the top 200 players look like? We already did in a video before. What's the current power ranking right now for the alliances? What's the optic perception on people that would actually fight versus not fight based on what they're seeing on the leaderboards? And then how are you going to get the fairest fight that you can, right? Which, as they mentioned in here, right, they don't want to kill the server. They want to be able to have a fun and happy, and I'm sure PvP-oriented season. And you don't do that by loading the deck on one side and then fighting the unloaded deck on the other side, right? It's clear that TA and TM have more higher combined power, and you're going and fighting GOAT and GRZ. To be fair, it just comes off as bullying is really what it does. Now, I'm not saying that's, again, wants to reiterate, I'm not saying that is their intent to do, but that is the optics of how it looks. And the fact is that if you want to have fun, sustainable PvP, you just split it up like I just said. And then bam, easy peasy lemon squeezy, go and have fun. Because the thing is that if you don't do it that way, then you're not going to get the type of fight or PvP engagement that you probably want to get. At least until you get to another merged kingdom where you're going to be fighting against an alliance or group that is just as strong as your combined alliances or stronger. And then you're going to end up seeing the tables turned, potentially, let's say, if that happens. And it'll be interesting to then see how TA and TM respond if and when they get matched up against a kingdom or in a KVK group where there is alliances and kingdoms that are stronger than them, and then now they're the ones that are being bullied, right? Because that, to me, if that situation comes up, the way that they respond and they react will be very telling for if they're hypocrites or if they're really true to their word and they're very earnest in their approach. And I think that it will tell us a lot about how those things play out if and when that should arise. Now let's move on to the next screenshot, which is, how am I supposed to clear things without asking questions? Me and Kay can do diplomacy right now. I've taken over from him. He will sleep. Regarding the mail, I contacted multiple TAR4s already. I contacted you, Bobby Wayne. We let know that we are going to Zolan to fight with Goat, and he agreed. And there was, then you will declare us an enemy for fun. We stood beside you in bad or good. So this shows that, again, this is kind of showing another side of what could be a contradiction of, or just having posting misinformation in that mail that we read where they said they were going to go to a certain area. I think it was, where is it? Sophrostia, but they went to Zoland, right? However, in this screenshot, it says that they let know that they did go, that they were going to go to Zoland. Now, obviously, would have to confirm that if that's the case and actually what happened. But if it is the case, then did communicate that to the management team? Did he not communicate? Did he forget? And then they're just making assumptions based off what the current information they have. The point in saying all of this is why being transparent and consistent in your communication is vitally important. So then we get to Wayne. Hi, Goat already agreed to 2v2 and willing to align with GRZ. They said they want to fight and have fun. I guess GRZ have some same thought. GRZ merge gases for war, not for farming. If you tell people join for farming, nobody join you. And this is interesting because this doesn't say Wayne's posting, but this does not say that they had asked or spoke to GRZ about it. Gas members joined us to defeat Goat, not the other way around, right? So again, now you're kind of seeing two sides to the situation on Wayne saying one side, and then we have Gon X saying something else with how it played out. Ursa says, read the mail. We have a relationship with other kingdoms and we don't want to be called traitors. We have this mail says GRZ didn't inform TA about going to Zolan with I informed long back regarding this and talks with Gas. You can try to fun guys. I'm not sure what that meant. This isn't fun. It is accusing us. And again, I will say, if everything pans out and this is the truth and I don't see any type of new information that comes up, and also I should preface as well that I have not yet messaged anyone else to ask them if they did or did not play that out as far as for some of the other messages. And that's just because, unfortunately, I haven't had time. But usually that is not how I go about conducting my own due diligence. Usually I like to try and message everyone involved. But as I said, I'm not leaning one way or the other on this. I'm merely just speaking to what we're seeing posted and covering both sides of it. So then we get to the next one, which is no, family can have misunderstandings. The only way to settle things is through communication like we did. Well, we have different take on this. For me, I'm good now. At least it was settled before something bad happened. They went and talked with GOAT while no one reached out to me till now. How can this even make sense? If I didn't have proofs, we would have been marked as traitors before even talks started. Then we get to calm down. Everyone knows how to spell traitor. You guys sent a line to before talking to us. Video isn't necessarily tense. If you want to go, you can go. We're not keeping you here by force. Let us know when you go, and we'll find a man to fill your place. This is a bit aggressive from Kagan, where, to be fair, I think Uriel's point, as I've been saying, if this is the case, it is somewhat warranted, and I think more so because of the fact that in the screenshots we've seen thus far, we haven't seen TA or TM acknowledge that they did not speak to anyone from GRZ thus far. Now, that doesn't mean that maybe they acknowledged it in another screenshot that we don't have, but at least for these ones, where you can easily tell there was multiple opportunities for that to be acknowledged based on not only their consistent response, which again, why would they lie and make all this up is kind of my view, along with the fact that we saw a mail that did not indicate anything about speaking to GRZ. However, they did mention speaking to GOAT. That to me lends a little bit more legitimacy to what we're seeing at face value. Now, this isn't what I'm asking. All I'm asking is a basic question. Now, remember, Uriel's still trying to get an answer at this point, which to me is bananas. And I'm not being disrespectful. And to be fair, he hasn't. I haven't seen him call anyone names. I haven't seen him say anything bad or mean or disrespectful to anyone. He basically just keeps trying to ask the same question throughout these screenshots that they still haven't answered. Right, then we have Gondex. Please, leaders should talk equally, not how powerful or weak they are. That is what diplomacy is for. The answer is not number 2 at the moment. I have told you the solution to the problem. I expected you to implement this, but you chose to go. Good luck. I hope you always win the dragon. Strength is not important to me. You still haven't given me answers, Kagan. I have a valid point. Dada was official diplomat to GRZ and TA. You can't use that as an excuse. I will convey this situation to Wayne. He is our leader at the moment. Don't worry, he will find the right way. The mail says management of TA. That means you guys already talked regarding it. And again, Uriel's making good points here, man. Like, these are some of the points I would probably make, as I just alluded to a little bit earlier in the video, where I made that same exact point, approaching it in a different way, but Uriel does the same thing. Uriel's point is, how come you decided to have 2-on-2 on that instant without confirming it to us? This is Gonex asking, because as far as I was aware, you guys went to Zolan to compete in the server. So see, now we're getting a little bit more information here, where now you can see that this was an assumption, right? This is how that's coming off to me now. Again, due to miscommunication, it resulted in this. However, I mean, yeah, that's right. However, this would have been the opportunity to say, hey, I apologize, or hey, we're sorry for how the thing played out. We made an assumption and it was wrong of us. The challenge is that in most cases in these types of games, or I should say, let me generalize this more. In situations where you have opportunities to apologize, part of what can happen for some people is that they just become too prideful. And this is a situation where, again, and I'm only going off of the limited amount of screenshots that we've shown so far, unless we see that happen in the remaining screenshots, to me this becomes a pride thing, and it's just unfortunate. And I'm not saying this is on Ghost. I'm just saying Ghost is a part of that team, not only for TM and TA, right? This kind of falls on the entire management team and not necessarily one individual person, unless there was someone who was there who made the final call and they didn't make some type of, management vote, as an example. And then sorry, I think you guys are hearing a little buzzer here. One moment. Let me exit out of that. Lovely. Sorry, I didn't know how long that was going on for. And then we go to the next one here, which is I spoke to GOAT. It's either we all best them up or we try and have a fair 2v2. How can you talk with GOAT, who is not allies, and not talk with us? Also read the beginning of this chat. Started off. So I'm mad because I tried reaching TA management for hours already before all this happened. Where in the mail does it brand you as a traitor? The mail itself was formed in a way calling us traitors. Lex comes in, calm down. I contacted you, didn't you? Told me to contact. And again, like Uriel's consistent, man. If anything, I love the fact that he stayed, or this individual stayed consistent without name calling anyone or, using some type of derogatory language or, any type of ill-worded or ill-chosen words. Can I please ask where it says traitor if you read the mail? And this, I think, is just kind of focusing on the wrong thing here, right? The fact is, and if we look at the last one, right, how am I supposed to clear things without asking questions? Me and Kay can do diplomacy right now. I've taken over for him. We will sleep. I think we already saw that one. So anyways, now we're kind of here at this point where let's go back to the kingdom itself. So after looking at everything, right, and again, let me say that, I'm not here to call anyone out individually. I think it's important to be able to look at situations that arise and calmly assess them for what they are. And the challenges here are that you saw a number of screenshots overall that ended up giving the appearance that TA/TM did not communicate with GRZ. And you see GRZ consistently asking the same question over and over, especially from Uriel, trying to find out, hey, why did no one reach out? And even throughout all those screenshots, and again, I'm only going off of those screenshots because that's really all we have thus far, is that you did not see, even though there was multiple opportunities for someone to apologize, and whether it's from themselves or on behalf of TA and TM management, nobody did that. Right? Now, maybe they've done that since these screenshots, which I think were taken around the 28th, as we alluded to in the beginning. But still, to me, that it comes off as a red flag, and at least a few red flags. Like, one, was there a level of communication between and the other team when it was explained to them about the whole gas situation of joining? Was it explained to them when they mentioned moving to Zoland? Was that communicated? Did that happen or did that not happen? Obviously someone like and anyone else who was involved in that would know if they have any screenshots or things they can show on if that was communicated or not. Then you have the other side of it is, why did no one actually reach out to GRZ to ask them? Why was there an assumption that was made, right, which was kind of alluded to again from Ghost Post on him speaking for the management team or speaking of the management team, where they said GRZ went to Zoland, and so it was just believed at that point that they were going there to fight. Again, without asking, that's just usually not an assumption that you would make. You would always want to do your due diligence in that case and at least ask. So again, there's certain things that we can speak to with a little bit more factual intent because of the context that we have thus far, but there are still some unknowns that we just don't know. So, we can look at both sides or speculate, but I think when you look at everything overall, which the things that I can, in addition to what I've said, speak to with just an absolute certainty, is that if you're looking to have, and I mentioned this before, if you're looking to have a fair fight, that is what you do. You split it up and you do something like TA, GRZ, or GOAT, and then you do TM, GRZ, or GOAT, right? And you kind of pick the other. And then if, GBD or GDB wants to get involved, then you try and find another alliance that's maybe around a mil or so, and you just try and get the powers, as close as you can. And you do something like that. That to me seems like, if you're looking for a fair fight, which is something that TA specifically said, which is a belief that TM would share as well, when they mentioned the whole 2v2 and saying that they don't want to just kill the server, right? Now, bear in mind, they can take any approach they want. If they wanted to do that, if they just wanted to run over everyone, they can do whatever they want. It is their choice. However, I'm only, as I said, speaking to the fact that they mentioned this in a mail, that they didn't want to kill the server and they were okay with aiming for a 2v2. If that's the case, there's no problem with splitting up TA and TM and you guys fighting against each other. Why? Unless you're saying that, and again, to me, it's almost the easy counter argument is, okay, well, are you saying that your relationship and your union would not survive you guys fighting against each other? And that's just going to break you apart? Like there's just a level of, fragility there that would just not last for one season? Again, that could be a counter argument that could be made. And again, I'm not trying to say that in some type of a loaded gun type way, but that is a question that can seriously be asked: is why would that be a problem, right? Why would that be the worst thing to happen? I mean, I personally don't think so. But again, everyone is kind of in their own right to make their decision for what they want to do and what they don't want to do. And for me, the thing I like the most is being able to kind of explain and show you, the community, how there's a lot that goes into kingdom builders. There's a lot that goes into seasons. There's a lot that goes into management and some of the politics and diplomacy back and forth. And then where will those decisions lead, and what are some of the ripple effects or choices that can be made, and then the repercussions maybe thereafter. So if anything, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Again, we're going to have to see how everything plays out, because again, we aren't going to have the zone 2 or adjacent zone 1 openings until we can double check here and look what the timeline is. So you have the level 1 semi-protected passes that will be opening in about a little less than 2.5 days from now. So we're looking at about 2.5, so on the 4th. Yeah, like 4th, I guess the 5th technically, so we're almost at the 3rd. So you're probably looking about maybe 6 to 10 UTC on the 5th, maybe, if my math somewhat lines up there, where we'll see the level 1 protected passes open, and then we'll see how the fights end up going into those neutral zones. That will be really cool to see, at least if there is any fighting, or if there isn't any fighting, and then it's, we'll see how that plays out too. However, what I'd love to hear now is some thoughts from you. If you are in SSS1-8, again, and you want to add some additional context, some things that maybe we didn't cover or we didn't have available to us to show for kind of comparing when we did both sides, and then speaking to the factual context or points that we made based on the information that was shared or corroborated from multiple screenshots, or even if you're someone who's just a bystander checking in, right? Is this the type of spicy drama that you're looking for? And if so, do you want more? If so, Daddy will provide. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thankfully, I'm the only one home right now who heard me say that. So with that in mind, that's going to be it for me. As always, until next time, I will catch you later.